So this is going to be an interesting review because I was really hype about Olija, and this about sums up how I feel. Yeah. So I'm doing this in earnest. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this. Olija is fine. It's fine. That's the best way I can describe it, is that it's fine. It's not bad, but it's also not particularly high up in the good category either. So this is going to be difficult. It's going to be rough, especially since y'all know that Devolver is like one of my favorite publishers. But here we go. If you're into the type of things that I do with Twitch and my reviews and everything, make sure you like and subscribe on the channel. God, I actually said that out loud. I hate myself. Follow me on Twitch. Maybe if you're feeling squirrely, throw some money at me. Use my links for sponsorship things. I'm Pleasantly Twisted, and today we're going to review Olija, aka a story of a game that I think could have went a lot better personally. Sorry. I'm sorry. Love you. So the first things first, everything in the options is very, very limited. And I don't mean that in a mean way, it's just that's what it is. It's very limited. There's no sliders really for the volume. There's no sliders really for the sound effects. As a matter of fact, the volume and master volume on here is all you have access to. Key bindings and everything. It shows keyboard. Okay, this is weird. It shows keyboard and it doesn't have anything indicating that it uses controller. But rest assured, you can use controller. Issue is, I don't know if you can rebind the controller configuration, and I definitely couldn't get it to reconfigure on this screen either. But yeah, you have master volume and music volume. The sound effects are just perpetually on can't hear shit. And there's no sliders, everything has to go by 25% increments, and I apologize that you get to hear it at 100% volume. It's literally quite loud. Even in terms of the language and everything, there's no listing. You just have to keep cycling through until you find the actual language that you want. It was definitely a choice. Now, full disclosure, this is a smaller company. This is on their second game. This is something else that kind of might become a problem if you want to experiment. You only have access to one file. You can't make multiple files. You have to just go in, play the game, and it is what it is. Luckily, there's not a lot of mechanics that are in place that if you miss it, you can't go back, so you're in good shape. The entire premise of the actual gameplay is that you play as Faraday and you wash up on this shore. We'll get into the story a little bit later, and you are in charge, quote unquote, of rebuilding this town. What you're looking at right now is the town. You have Soup Kitchen Bro who refills your health before you go. You actually have the Wayfarer who goes out and gets cookies for you at a small cost of 25 doll hairs. And then when you embark on a journey, you can wear a hat. Now, I want to point this out. I didn't know what was going on here. I just saw something with hats and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Why are these all here? What are they? Oh, you can craft hats. So I feel like that was a little bit reversed. I feel like I shouldn't have got a menu for the first level saying, hey, by the way, you can do hat stuff, because, you know, I had no idea whatsoever that this was something that we could even do, so I went out the gate kind of confused. But nonetheless, you get hats, you can craft hats, they do fun things, and you have Hat Maker Bro, which you can rescue early on in the game. As a matter of fact, you can't miss them, so there's never going to be a way for you to be like, oh, I can't make hats. So anyway, you embark on a journey, and you can wear hats that have different type of attributes. My hat of choice was the what I lovingly call Speedy Hat. It's not shown here, but Speedy Hat is best hat for the only obvious reason of it's speedy. And so what you'll do after this is you'll embark on a journey. Mr. Boatman will take you out, and you will get to see a cutscene every time that loads up to show you, hey, you're embarking on a journey, you're gonna do the adventuring things and stuff, and you get some cool cutscenes on occasion. I actually really like the cutscenes in the game. I'll talk about that a lot more in visuals, but the cutscenes I enjoyed a great deal. What I didn't enjoy is the perpetual length of having to be on that accursed boat with the boatman, because even though this is just showing, hey, he's rowing you in, I feel like this was like the world's most just artist crawl of a boat swing. And yeah, I guess you could argue that that's pretty accurate, but man, I get it. You gotta swim us in. It's fine. But I just want everyone to know that what we're about to witness here is probably my favorite thing, because you have this horn to call a boatman when you're ready to go. And I troll thusly. Because sometimes you toot. A lot. A lot. You can just call me a dick, it's fine. I tried to beat up the boatman at one point, and I was very sad I couldn't, so I tooted. By the way, spoilers incoming, there's an achievement for pissing off the boatman. 100% worth it. Anyway, so here you can see the actual combat of the game. Combat's very simple, but that doesn't surprise me. It is a very straightforward, kind of small-scale, pixel-driven game. You go out, you get a sword eventually, you beat people up with the sword. I actually really like the flow of the combo. I like that it has the ability to stagger enemies, and as you're progressing through the game, you also can get, I believe, a shotgun and a crossbow repeater. The repeater bow I didn't use very often, I thought it was kind of garbage, but the shotgun, real cash money. You can see that there's very common platforming elements, although there was a few times I didn't realize I was actually kicking the arrows out, and then when I caught onto it, I was like, oh, I can just be a ninja now. This is fine. This is perfectly fine. But you can see the little circles above his head. Those actually indicate when you're ready for a combo. Once you have 4 circles, you can go ahead and engage the combo. Go ahead and cut down boxes to set up traps. You can also cut down boxes to set up platforming. And you can see the 3 dots there to show that your combo's not ready. A lot of the stuff is exactly what you would expect in a kind of action-adventure style platforming game. You look on your menu with your collectibles and everything that's going on with what your current status is, and a lot of things to fill in. You traverse many different areas, you got your mandatory death spikes, and you have your mandatory scary boys, and then the next screen is just like weird, because I don't know why we zoomed out so far. It just seemed really intense and kind of overbearing in the grand scheme of things. But nonetheless, that's the core of the game. Running around, platforming, beating the shit out of people. The main draw of the game is actually the harpoon. And the harpoon is what allows you to do a lot of that fast traveling that you saw in the previews and early demos of the game. Because you can throw your harpoon, and then you can actually pull it back, or you can throw it and dash to it. The dashing to it, not gonna lie, kind of made me feel like a badass. Dashing to the harpoon felt dope, especially later in the game when you had to do puzzles where it required you to dash multiple times in a row towards things. That was actually lots of fun. You're going to be shooting the harpoon in lots of crevasses too to find secrets and other cookies and things. It never was quite explained why these black blobby boys are here, but it is what it is. They're here, they help you travel, and sometimes you fall in water as well. Like I said, it's the main way that you get through a lot of the puzzles. You'll have a lot of things that'll force you into different puzzles, and you have to figure them out as you go. The one criticism that I have here is that I really wish there was a little bit more in terms of what you could do with your actual weapons. Because here you can see in combat, I'm actually doing a boss fight in this particular scene. I'm fighting 3 bosses at once. Pretty much, I use my spear to travel around the map very quickly. You do get iframes for the spear, so that's nice. You can use that to kind of get out of danger's way very often. Also, closing the gap counts as damage as well. I have to chase down this guy, he's healing everybody. And then you kind of use your other weapons as an as-needed type of basis. There's no upgrades to your weapons, there's no actual ways to level anything up. You yourself as a character don't even level up or anything. Yeah, that guy's out of here. Fuck that dude. And you just kind of work with what they give you right out the gate. There's plenty of things for currency on the ground, which is those little blue squares that you saw. I don't think there was ever actually an assigned name for the currency. Plenty of things that look like apples for health, and the health is relatively generous. But for the most part, this is the height of the game. This is the meat and potatoes of it, is running around, using your Bampy skills to travel, and then beating up anybody who has issues with it. It was kind of bizarre not having to level up anything whatsoever, given by the fact that you can add more health to your pool. You start out with 100 health, you can max out at 150. Once you're done with everything, it'll give you a rundown of everything you've done in that level. If you grabbed new items, if you found new collectibles, if you rescued people who can do things in the town, it's gonna let you know. You'll get a quick snap of all the things you've opened up thus far in terms of weapons and collectible items. And then at the end of this entire rundown, you'll see all the things that you can collect in the entire game. But that's it. And I don't mean that rudely. It's just, that's it. That screen that you just saw that had the 4 icons and then a 0 of 0 or a 1 of 8 or a 4 of 40, that's the entire game. And that was kind of jarring, given by the fact that when it was showcased, I kind of went under the assumption that maybe you would at least get 10 or 20 hours out of it. No, this is everything. This is the whole rundown. That is the game. That entire menu you just saw is it. Whenever you're going to a boss, you'll always guaranteed have a full pool, and then you kind of rinse and repeat. So, definitely not really high in replayability, but it was still a good time. Oh, the story. Okay, the gameplay is fine. The story is arguably the weakest part of the game. So I mentioned this at the start, and I'm going to finish into it now. You play as Faraday, who does not like the misery and downfall and hardship of his people. So he hops on a boat and decides he's going to go find better. Now, anyone who is familiar with any type of folklore or any type of like very Eastern style stories already can tell you it's going to land on a boat, and that boat's going to get toppled. And here you go. You're on a boat, and the boat's going to get toppled. The story is easily the weakest in my opinion, just because of the fact that it is predictable, and I mean that with my chest. It is loudly predictable. There's no guessing, there's no encouragement, there's nothing that makes you say, oh, maybe this will be unique. No, it goes exactly where you think it would. His ship gets battered and beat up, and then a boatman finds you, and then the boatman proceeds to tell you, no one would have survived that, you must be an enigma. And then he talks to you about how you're lucky to be alive, and how you've heard these tales, and oh, there's no way that you're part of that tale, and things like that. And this is kind of what I was talking about before with the just absolutely dragging boat scenes. Oh my Lanta, I completely get it. Trust me, I do. And I'm not trying to be a bitch about it, but these boat scenes just did not have any life to them whatsoever. I don't know if it's because of the fact that it's pixelated, but I highly doubt that's the case because I've seen plenty of pixel style games that have life, but it just felt like you were just kind of trudging along. And they follow the ukulele trend of making weird noise as the kind of indicators that people are talking. So yeah, the story is just, it's so lackluster. You literally find the harpoon, you touch the harpoon, because of course you touch the harpoon. Bad things happen. Oh no, there's weirdness. You've been stabbed. Now you're one with the harpoon. Now that you have the harpoon, you have to go save Olija. Oh, by the way, Olija is the name of the woman you're saving. And of course the woman you're saving is being held hostage by, you guessed it, a big blacky blob icky dude who says, you'll never save Olija. She is ours, and she will never be freed. Yeah, so anyway, here's you saving Olija, as you expected to, and after you save Olija, you go, milady, and then she dips on you, because apparently she's not even supposed to be here. And so you spend the rest of the game kind of just chasing after her for keys, which are mandatory for progression, and that's it. That's the story. You save the girl, she dips on you, and it's your job to chase her down and get a key that you need, grab the other keys that you need, and open up doors so that you can get the big blue keys you need, and then go forth and open the big bad door. It is just one of the most just straightforward and simplified tales you could ever fathom. And yes, you do get the girl at the end, because of course you do. And don't misunderstand, I am sure that there's a folklore version of this in Asian history and whatnot, because that's what this is based on, that is very, very cheeky and very, very just, you know, epic and grandeur. But man, this was not it. It is a very, very milquetoast standard story of you playing generic white dude saving assumably Asian woman and then pursuing her. By the way, this was written off as you feel drawn to Olija, and I'm just sitting here watching this story like I hate it because I already know what's happening here. I already knew this. Okay, so now that animosity is out my system, let's talk about visuals. I actually really like the aesthetic of the game. It's probably going to be a little bit more jagged and bumpy than many people like for the pixelated styling, but I actually enjoyed it a lot. They did some really good things and really cool things with color. You can see this scene is just absolutely just nice and serene, stunning. That's actually Olija that's in the statue, because some other things that I actually did not spoil in the story. I know, impressive considering how much I ran through. But there was very seldom, if ever, a time where I looked at the screen and went, I don't know what that is, I don't know what's going on. I guess if I really had to be hypercritical about it, there were some occasions where things that were in the foreground were very much blended together with other things that were going on, and I thought, oh, maybe I can jump on this, or maybe I could hang from this, or maybe this is something I can hit with my spear, or harpoon is technically correct. And the nice thing about that, and why I'm not going to harp on it that badly, is yes, it's an issue, but I can say with reassurance that there was never a time where I tried to land on something and then it led to me dying or inflicting harm on my character. You can see here, this is another boss. There's actually 3 bosses in this video, and you kind of can see like the really fun transformation and the fluidity of a lot of the movements in the characters. There is a couple of animations that kind of made me head tilt. We'll get to a point where you'll see me use a shotgun, I believe, and the reload animation is a sight to behold TM. But generally speaking, I really like that they did a good job differentiating everything. I'm assuming in the options when it said damage on and off, that meant the numbers, and considering how low the numbers are, I could take it or leave it. Because again, you don't level anything, it's all just base out the box. That's what you get, that's what you're using, that's all there is to it. Here you can see that they also did a really good job of actually trying to stylize things after a kind of Asian aesthetic. So I will give them that credit. The Asian storytelling might not have been that great, but the attention to detail for how a lot of these things are laid out and actually put together, I will give them an A+ mark on. Well, maybe not an A+, a solid A at least. There were still a few things that it did take me a moment to look at and go, oh, okay, that's what that is. But it was never so bad that I was morbidly confused. Also, if anyone knows this, you can leave it in the comments. If you wind up playing this in some way, shape, or form, what the hell is the purpose of this dude? He's cool. I don't know if his purpose was there for anything besides story. He just kind of plays music and then gives you like really cryptic proverbs and commentary. And as you can see, I just kind of go about my business and go break stuff. The visual cues in terms of secrets and everything are very well placed. As a matter of fact, I'd be willing to argue that some of them could be better hidden, because it was very, very rarely, if ever at all, that I was confused on whether or not I could see something. But I wanted to mention this too. The cutscenes are probably the strongest parts of the visuals, because the cutscenes is where you really get to see everything get brought to life. Their structuring on the face for many things was very bizarre, but for the actual antagonist, I loved the work that they did with him, her, it. I'm not sure. I just know I had to beat his ass, and that was just how that went. But there were a few of these within the game, and I think it could have stood to have a lot more, because these were really well thought out and just beautiful. Their color, their placement, everything else, loved it. And the visuals is, in my opinion, the strongest part of the game. So the ultimate burning question becomes, but Vanessa, would you buy it? It's a mixed bag. It's, honestly speaking, it's a mixed bag. I think the story is absolutely atrocious. I think it's god-awful, terrible, super predictable, very, very easy to read, very, very easy to see what's going on. So it makes your motivator, if you're a story-driven person, kind of non-existent. Like, if you want story, then you're not going to do well with Olija. if you are someone who's like me, full disclosure, I play games like this on a regular basis. So I was able to beat it in 4.5 hours, and it may not be true for everybody. I also play Dead Cells very regularly. I love Darkest Dungeon. I challenge run Dark Souls. I adore Celeste so much that I have a tattoo of it. So if you're looking at it from the perspective of is it easy or hard, take what I say in terms of completion with a grain of salt, because these games are, bluntly speaking, my forte. I'm good at these games. I know what I'm doing. I know what's happening. I pick up quickly. But if you're looking for something with a highly challenging element and you are in the same boat as me, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. And I just have to be honest with you about that. If you're looking for something that's rich in story, you're not going to get it in any way, shape, or form. It's just not gonna. Oh no! I forgot I did that achievement. But yes, there's an achievement to just jump off like that, and I promptly eat it myself because again, completionist things. But yeah, as I was saying, if you're looking for rich story, it's not gonna do it for you. If you're looking for extremely hard difficulty and you can keep up with me in a lot of the try-hard games that I play, it's not gonna do it for you. If you're looking for a quick way to kind of burn your Sunday afternoon, this will scratch that itch real good. Again, I beat it in one sitting, but you see that I beat it in one sitting. I didn't get 2 hours in and say, nope, this is trash. I can't deal with this. I'm not going to play it. That's not true. It's just Olija falls in the category of it's fine. It's fine. I would have loved to see more with the visuals and the storytelling for the visuals, because I think that would have helped out the story a great deal as opposed to just that accursed boat. I would have loved any type of different ways to maybe modify or upgrade your weapons, because right now the only way you can do something remotely close to that is with the hat system. And as you can see here, I said early on, I am Team Speedy Hat, and the Speedy Hat just made everything plenty busted, plenty fast. The other hats are cool. You have one that can make you do things like kill enemies with acid, things that'll give you bloodsucker, and other stuff, but I just went with Speedy Hat. But yeah, I would have loved to see different ways you could change your weapons, love to see more visual things, but again, all in all, it's fine. It's just not as deep and engaging as one would think when looking at the trailer. Also, can we talk for a second about how the art for the game on the cover is stunning? The actual gameplay trailer, or not gameplay trailer, but the teaser trailer that was fully animated, also absolutely beautiful. I just wonder why and how that didn't get translated into the game in any magnitude. And that's not a drag, that's just a very loud curiosity. Very loud curiosity. But you can very, very easily just kind of hang out, play this. Maybe you'll get all the achievements, maybe you won't. I didn't think many of the secrets were particularly hard to find, to be perfectly honest. But nonetheless, it's fine. It's fine. And I know people probably want something like a number or, you know, like a hardcore yes-no. I can't really do that because, again, even though it's just fine, I did sit down and I beat it in one fell swoop. I went through the whole game. I got all the hats. I did all the side stuff with the exception of finding all the bottles. But otherwise, it was a game that you just kind of play it. So that does it for me. Olija comes out January 28th on Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Steam at $14.99. Thanks for watching the video. Like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.